All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning in Chicago. Good afternoon. Happy lunchtime on the East Coast, 9 a.m. West Coast. And our esteemed guest, who we will be bringing in momentarily, is a lot further east than that. My name is Alex Goldfayn. Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for being with me. This is a LinkedIn Live that's going to be something new that we are trying, where I'd like to talk with people who apply the concepts of selling boldly, of 5-minute selling, which is really nothing more than proactive selling. And so I want you to hear about how it's working. I want you to listen to what you can take away. And let me bring in the very first guest that I've ever talked to in one of these LinkedIn Lives. Her name is Emma Wilson, although she's recently gone through a brand renovation and is now M. Wilson. Hello, M. Welcome. Thank you so much for talking with me.
No, not at all. Very pleased to be here. Thanks for having me.
Everything you say sounds nicer than everything I say, just by dint of that awesome British accent. And so I wanted to bring you in and say hello. And then I know I'm supposed to go to the LinkedIn comments because I've been coached up properly by our awesome producer, Marissa Callie. And hello to everybody. If you're watching, tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're signing in from. We'd love to see and know. And say hello. So, tell us, and we've known each other for a while. I know you've been following my work for a while, and we've talked several times before, but I'd love to hear from you what you do and how you help people out there in the world, please.
Okay. So I run a marketing agency called Emma-Louise. And I suppose the main things that we do are help sort of scaling 6, 7, 8-figure businesses develop their marketing so it actually generates sales, which is basically just a lot of the stuff I learned at BP when I worked in strategic transformation and social media. And then quite a lot of the stuff I've learned from your books and put into practice that's worked for me. So yeah, that's what I do for a living. I help people get their message straight and then get it out there to the people that can buy from them.
Yeah, and how has your pandemic business gone? How are things given the environment and the situation?
Yeah, so when it hit the UK in March, I lost a client every single day for 2.5 weeks.
Oh.
Which was pretty stressful, I have to say. But actually, I took a month out. I did a lot of volunteering in the local community. I won a couple of awards, which was quite sweet. And then, yeah, sort of June time, everybody sort of cottoned on to the fact that this was going to be around for a while. And then we went back to almost normal, not quite, but almost normal. Yeah, so it's touch wood, okay, at the moment.
Good. It definitely feels like people are, companies have figured out that they have to work, first of all. We figured out how to work remotely.
Yeah.
Selling has, of course, changed probably permanently, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Customers don't want to see salespeople so much.
No.
And they figured out, salespeople have figured out that we can sell remotely. We can sell from a distance, right? Have you found some of that with your work?
Yeah, I mean, all of the clients I have now, bar 3, are people I've never met in real life. So everything's been done via video links and things like that. But actually, I think what we're finding is it's not as nice from a mental health perspective, I suppose, and from a sort of trust and friendship perspective. But I think it is doable, and actually you can build relationships across continents and time zones. So for me, it's actually opened up a whole new market, which is really exciting.
Pre-pandemic, would you have been meeting these clients?
No, I wouldn't have even thought about it.
No, but would you have been face-to-face with them before the pandemic? If you were selling to them or if you were working with them, would that have been in person?
Yeah, so a lot of my work, because I think because of the nature of the work that I do is very, I work better face to face, I think. So I was doing I realised how much travelling I was doing, actually. That was the thing that really struck out to me when the pandemic started. But I think after, when we do get back to a point, because slowly in Portsmouth, we're actually in the UK, we're in part of the city that is, we're doing okay. So you can actually meet people as long as it's socially distanced. But what we're finding is that to make that effort to go and see someone, there has to be a contract that gets signed. You know, there has to. It's actually, that's becoming part of the conversion journey a little bit more so than before.
Yeah.
Whereas before you just go and meet someone to have a coffee and chat. Now it's very much, you know, this is moving forward, and we're building a relationship here. Being face to face counts for a lot more, I'd
Good.
say.
Awesome. Let's go to the comments really quick. Nelson Bruton, my friend, is in Jacksonville, Florida. We already know that. Don't even have to see the comments. Elliot Braun, hello and welcome. We have Veronica is in San Diego, California. Kurt C is announcing Belgium is in the house.
Very nice.
Amy Bosco, hello, Amy, Westbrook, Connecticut. Shireen Ali is on the Bourne end of Buckinghamshire. Buckinghamshire? How do I say that, Em?
Buckinghamshire, yeah.
Sure. Okay. Sure. Good. Do you miss the traveling for the selling and for the client connections? You said you were doing a lot of traveling. Do you miss some of that for balance, though?
I used to read a lot more than I do now. So last year I read 127 books because I was just traveling on trains and planes so much. Whereas this year I've done a lot less reading. But I think, I think I'm a lot more efficient now, actually. It feels a lot more effort. So I went to see a client in Chichester last week, which is about 45 minutes drive. And
Say it slowly. In which shire?
Sorry, Chichester. So it's about 45 minutes drive from me. And I just thought, gosh, that's 45 minutes in the car, an hour-long meeting, and then 45 minutes back. That's half my day.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, that was quite surprising, actually, for me.
Good. All right, we've got another UK. We got Chicago suburbs. Nick E, me too. Me too. Which suburb? Let's see. There is India. We have Bernie in Tampa. And Elliot B is in Basingstoke. So welcome, everybody. Yeah, these are all probably your people, Emma. Yeah. So thank you all for being with us. Listen, if you have questions, ask. We are going to talk about sales and selling for the majority of the conversation. If you have comments, please type them into the comments. And they don't only have to be questions. So love questions, send them. But if you agree, let us know. If you disagree, let us know. If you're mad about something Emma is saying, please let us know as well. Emma, it can only be you. It can't possibly be me. They might get mad at. And if you have an experience that relates to something that we're talking about, go ahead and share it. If you can relate to something, if I've done that and I've had this result, go ahead and please share it with us. We would love to hear about it. So Nick tells us he's in Naperville. Nick, I'm in Lake Forest, so we're about 45 minutes away by car, that drive that Emma was just talking about. And we have a LinkedIn user in California. So welcome, everybody. Please interact. Would love to hear from you on this. So, Emma, one of the things I want to chat with you about is you've been following my work for a while, right? And so the latest book is 5 Minute Selling. And the one before that is Selling Boldly, there. And the one before that is there. The Revenue Growth Habit, which your copy of Revenue Growth Habit might be my favorite one on the entire planet. I know you've borrowed it out, but it's well read. So all of my stuff is about proactive sales, right? About being present, about making phone calls, about telling people that we care to help them, right? Showing up, being present, being interested, and helping people. Talk to me about the big question, and then we'll hone in. The big question is this. Talk to me about how you've incorporated proactive selling into your work and what it's done for your sales. Okay.
Well, let's go through the journey, shall we? So I started my business 3 years ago, and I'd read Revenue Growth Habit before then. But when I started the business, it was really my Bible, which is why it's so well annotated and full of Post-it notes and things, from where I've sort of taken things and gone, oh, that's a great idea, and this is how I developed that. And for me, I'm not very disciplined as a person. I'm very much a creative. So for me, having that weekly marketing planner with the actions, and you could pick the actions, and it was a did you know, or thinking of you, or a wow moment, or whatever it was, it gave me just enough structure to get the business going. So on day one, I sat down and wrote a list of all the people I could call, and I wrote 15 names, rang 12, and Amari started then. because I had clients from day one, which is very unusual.
With 12 phone calls.
Yeah, no, 15 phone calls, 3 voicemails, 12 clients.
Fantastic. Pretty good hit rate, Emma. Pretty good for a beginner there.
Just because I was just going freelance, I was just testing the water. But I think a lot of people, when they're starting out, they go through here in the UK, there's lots of clinics that you can go to and lots of support groups you can go to when you're thinking about your business, about your brand, and what your strategy is going to be and how you're going to help people. But for me, I just got on the phone. I just took the book as it sort of stood and went with it. So it was proactive selling from day one, really. And from that, I built a business that hit 6 figures within its first year, which was really exciting.
And rare.
My only
uncommon.
goal.
Yeah.
And that was all based on the book, really. And it really was. Every day I made a point to just do at least one action off Revenue Growth Habit. And that was sacrosanct. It doesn't matter what happened during the day, I would make that time for that one thing, whatever it was I decided to do. I
like sacrosanct, right? That's a good word, right? So of all, I know you're going to continue the story, but if I could just sort of wedge in, of all of the tools and the techniques, and they're similar. The Revenue Growth Habit has similar techniques to selling boldly, has similar techniques to 5-minute selling. It's just that one is an evolution of the one before it. Which one technique, for the people who are with us, which one proactive selling approach has worked best for you?
So I would say asking for testimonials and referrals. I think social proofing, so that's what it is when you ask for a testimonial. That's what it's called. That is really powerful. And there's some Nielsen research that came out last year that said 72% of people trust a recommendation from someone they don't know, 92% from someone they do. So that's 72%.
Why 72%.
Yeah, from someone they don't know, 92% from someone they do. And so for me, because all of my work is so networked, I use a lot of social media. I didn't actually have a website for the first year I was in business because I didn't need one. Because, everything just came through referral.
Because you made 15 calls.
Well, yeah,
right?
I think that led on. Yeah, I did quite well. And yeah, I think that was the most important thing for me. And I think
asking for testimonials.
Yeah, and then asking for referrals. And the way we tend to do that is there's 3 questions that I ask, and it's on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your experience? On a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend us? And then the question is, who would you recommend us to? Who off the top of your head would you recommend us to? And 90% of the time, people either give you a name straight away, or I found, or they'll come back to you on an email and sort of do it that way for you.
Emma, do you ask on the phone or do you email it?
Phone, always phone. My phone bill's ridiculous.
Good for you.
Yeah. Email, so my email strategy, just really briefly on this, because it's a bugbear of mine that people send too many emails, and I'm on a mission to get rid of spam, is I only ever email or respond to emails that start as discussed, because an email for me is a record of a conversation that's already had. And that was something we were taught at BP in my graduate scheme, was emails should always start as discussed. And it's a really good habit to get into, because it stops you emailing as much.
Yeah, that's great. I used to think that emailing was just a little bit better than doing nothing at all, right? That was my position for years, and I think I've even as late as writing this book, which was January, that I think that's what I wrote. I now believe, now that it's we're in the middle of a pandemic, I now believe that writing an email is actually worse than doing nothing at all when it comes to B2B sales. I think it's less than doing nothing, because you send the email, you get no reply. Why haven't they replied? Are they mad at me? Did they get it? If they got it, do they want it? Do they not want it? Did they see it? Did it register? I don't know anything if I've sent an email and I've gotten no reply, which is what happens to most emails, right? You get no reply. So if I don't send an email, I don't have any of those problems. I don't wonder, I don't concern, I don't stress about any of those things. So I actually think that sending an email now is less than doing nothing at all.
And I think, we're all in a state of crisis on some level. People talk about unprecedented situations all the time. And I think there is a sense of overwhelm. There's so much change in the world. And, an overflowing inbox is you're just adding to that problem a little bit, if I can be that bold.
Yeah.
I avoid email if I can.
Yeah, good.
There are some clients that live on it, and that's fine. You work with, the way they work. But I do try to, I respond quicker to text messages and calls. And they know.
Well, text messages are so much better than email, right? And I think we should be texting with our customers and our prospects.
Yeah, I have some great WhatsApp groups with my clients where we actually have a content hub. So the marketing director, sales director, and a couple of others will come in, and we'll all chat about the content we're putting out and what's happening. And it's really fun. Content.
So you were telling me about your journey through applying proactive selling into your business. Give me let's jump ahead to 5-minute selling, if we could. Tell me about the role that the fast sort of quickly plan, quickly do, and quickly track. Those are the 3 things, right? Quickly plan in 5 or 10 minutes, not 5 or 10 hours. Then quickly do 5 minutes a day of proactive communications. And then quickly track, which means write it down and make a log of what happened so you can follow up on it. So I'd love to hear about your process, see your process, and just sort of understand how you are implementing this into your business.
So based on the book, I start on a Sunday night. So I have, this is one for next week because I didn't want to share my current one because obviously GDPR restrictions. But I put 5 names down for each section on the call planner. And then each day I will, the week's challenge then for me is to call one person from each block. So that quickly plan actually offers me a month's worth of calls if I'm doing it properly. Yeah.
So you spend how much time writing your call plan?
So I would say so once a month, I probably spend about half an hour to 40 minutes.
Once a month, half an hour to 40 minutes. If we average that out weekly, 10 minutes, 10 minutes a week. So my call planner looks like that. Hold up yours.
Yeah. So this is just on the note.
So you've written it into your notebook, right? And this planner that I'm holding, you can download on my website. You can't download Emma's planner, but it is in the book, and it's really, these are the planners and trackers that the book is built on. So they're kind of in the setup of the entire book. So you make your plan to call for the week, for the month, right? And then tell me how you work that plan. Tell me how you pick up what time of day.
This is the first thing I do every morning. So I start work at about 8 o'clock. I write down all the things. I've got my own sort of daily planner that I need to check with projects and updates from the team and stuff like that. So that's the first hour. But from 9 o'clock, the first thing I do is make my calls. And again, that time is sacrosanct because I find if you catch people at about 8:50 to about 9:20 seems to be the window for me. I don't know if that's global, but certainly in the clients that I'm working with, because they've just sat down at their desk and they're ready to start work, and then the phone goes and it's a happy distraction.
Why do you do it first thing?
For that reason, I think people get to work and you've got that opportunity just to give them a quick call. And even if they miss it, I find they'll ring you back at lunch because they can feel that voicemail on that notification on their phone. So I've experimented with it in different ways, and that's just, as I said, 8:50 to 9:20 seems to be my window for my client base.
Emma, if you didn't do it first thing in the morning and it became 11 or 12 or 1 or 2, are the odds that you would make your calls higher or lower?
Lower. Because I get stuck into my day, I get stuck into project work or meetings. And the thing is back-to-back meetings usually for me are very normal because as a consultant, I work to my clients' schedules rather than mine. So it has to be first thing for me. Otherwise it wouldn't work at all.
Did you see who jumped in here? Mr. Dan Disney saying hello. Hello, Mr. Disney. Thanks for watching. Nelson says he's seen a dramatic increase in my responses from emails using co-video for embedded video in my emails. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know how much time I want to spend. Just really quickly. Have you done this? Have you put videos into messages or LinkedIn messages or emails?
So all of my proposals that go out these days are video based. So I have a proposal document that I also send, but I actually do a video commentary with it, which is usually about 2 or 3 minutes. And I say, here's all the gumph. This is the page you actually need to get to, and this is what I'm talking about. Any questions, let me know. And that works really, really well. I don't send out regular emails. That's the one thing I don't do, because actually, at the moment, that would be creating a rod for my own back. I feel if I started doing regular newsletters, I'd have to keep doing regular newsletters. Yeah. So yeah, at the moment I don't do that. But yeah, video and voice notes I leave on WhatsApp. Most of my clients and I are now in the habit of constant voice notes. And it's quite nice on LinkedIn as well, because you can do sort of 50 seconds and it chops you off. So you have to be quite erudite. Yeah.
So my take, Nelson, I'm glad you're having success. And I don't know if Nelson's still with us or not, because the comment was 5 minutes ago. Nelson, tell me if you're still with us, because I have a question. And my question is, are these videos that you're sending, are they cold calls? Are you sending to people you don't know, or are you sending to people you do know? Here's my take on these videos, because I get a lot of them in my LinkedIn inbox. I find that it's all of the discomfort of a cold call when somebody calls me who I don't know, but now I can see your face, right?
Yeah.
And so to me, it's call me on the phone. You know, if you want to talk to me, wouldn't it be easier just to dial 7 numbers into the phone, than record a video and send it? And we jump through all of these hoops because we are uncomfortable picking up the telephone. And so if you have a client or a customer out there and you haven't talked to them in a while, pick up the phone and call them. And first of all, remind them of your existence. Remind them that you're there and that you're thinking about them. And secondly, just show up, be present. Nelson says that the videos are being sent to cold prospecting emails and prospecting emails that I've talked to previously. Listen, if they're working, and Nelson and I know each other well enough, I can say if it's successful, keep doing it. For me, I would so much prefer a phone call. Emma, can you reach your phone right now? Or is the phone by you?
It's on charge.
Oh, it's over there. You might be the only person in England right now whose phone is not.
This is my time, so I'm very ruthless about my time, and that's what a lot of clients know now. There are certain times of day you can catch me, and there are certain times of day you can't. And yeah, so my first hour of the day and the last hour of the day for me are my time.
Yeah, we have a question here from Gokul. Excuse me, I hope I'm saying that right. Gokul says, and I'm going to ask you to answer this, if that's okay. And then I'll jump in. I'll piggyback off what you say. I think you do this well. He says, what's the best morning routine? What's the best morning routine for commission sales people? So if Gokul could do 1 or 2 key things first thing in the morning, what and any commission salespeople that are watching us right now, what would you recommend they do?
I think it's what you said. Pick up the phone. I think it's have your call planner. Have that done the night before, the weekend before, and then just when you're talking to your prospects or clients, I tend to find that asking for feedback on things, giving ideas, or like you said, I saw this and thought of you style. That's the only way I know how to sell. I would never call someone and say, "Are you ready to buy yet?" Or do you need any more? Unless I'm in proposal mode, where it'd be, do you need any more info on the proposal, or do you have any more questions? Most of my conversations are just casual conversations that I get a lot of insight from. So I stress less about the sale and focus more on building the relationship.
Totally. What a key point. Stress less about the sale and just focus more on the human that you're talking to, right? I mean, you and I could demonstrate this right now when we talk for an hour, right? How are you? How's your family? Is everybody healthy? What are you doing, right? How's the pandemic where you are? Because you told me it's not so bad where you are right now in Portsmouth, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
Because it's getting worse and worse here, where in the Midwest of America where we are. In fact, in all of America where we are. And we could talk about school, and we could talk about work, and are most people going to work? I mean, you and I could talk for an hour, and we know each other. you know? And if we didn't know each other, we could talk for an hour and catch up. Look, I feel like there are no cold calls right now. You know, if everybody's watching us right now, and Elliot, I see what you're saying, pick up the phone. And I totally agree with you. I don't think we have cold calls right now. Yeah. I think you're exactly right. Go ahead, Em.
Sorry, just thinking about Dan, actually. So a lot of the work that he talks about, he's always doing stuff about cold calling and social selling, which is quite interesting for me. But I think, you know, there is no such thing as a cold call because we now have social media. It's so easy to go onto someone's LinkedIn profile and look at some of the stuff that they're interacting with, you know, the events that they've been to, the people that you have in common. So again, if I want to, I had a client, there was a company I really wanted to work with. And this is when I first started the business. And I thought, if I can nail that client, others will follow, because they're quite a big cheese in the industry I was working in. And so I found the marketing director's name on LinkedIn, and then I contacted all of our mutual contacts and just said, I really want to talk to this person for X reason. I think these are all the different ways I could help him. So any chance you could just mention me in your next conversation? And then he got in touch with me a month later and said, I keep hearing your name. I think we need to talk. Can you come in next week? So yeah, that was, you know, almost the reverse. But I'm quite happy to contact people I don't know, as long as I can find that commonality. You know, I love the blog you just read. I saw your name pop up in, you know, on a interview the other day. Blah 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 blah. There's so many great ways of creating those connections these days without being a total stalker.
That's great.
That's the other problem.
So let's wrap up the morning routine item.
Yeah.
How many calls should Gokul make in the morning?
Well, I suppose that depends on his KPIs, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I try to keep them short, because I think people appreciate keeping them short. It's just a check-in, really, or a starter for 10, and then you say, oh, I'll follow up, you know, I'll send you something or whatever it is, and then you sort of show willing with that. You don't want to be. How
long is a typical Emma call?
Probably 5-10 minutes. I wouldn't say any longer than that. You know, it's usually hi, saw this, thought of you. I'm gonna send you something that I found today. I think you're gonna find it really interesting because of X, Y, Z. It's those kind of calls that I find work best for me.
Scheduled? Are they expecting your call or no?
No, I mean, sometimes, you know, if it's one of my larger clients, or it's somebody I've I haven't spoken to in a while, I'll just say, look, I'd love to give you a call on Monday. I'd probably link in with them, actually, and just say, I'd love to give you a call on Monday. Are you free? Because I think that's polite. But yeah, normally, no.
Yeah, and you could text them too. You could text them and let them know you'll be calling.
Exactly.
I mean, so I pulled that thread with you because I think you were giving him exactly the perfect routine. So if you are a commissioned salesperson, your morning routine is identify 3 people you want to call, and then pick up the phone and call those people. And if you have to leave a voicemail, leave a voicemail. Let them hear your voice. Let them know you called. Let them know you tried. Let them know you're working with somebody who's similar to them, that reminded you of the person you're calling. But let them hear your voice. Tell them you want to catch up. Tell them you have something interesting for them. Em says she tells them she's going to send them something so that they're looking for it, right? And now there's an email and a phone call, right? I assume the thing, you might be on LinkedIn, it might be a text, it might be on email. Call 3 people. That's the thing. So I have a question for you.
Okay. What
do you say to everybody who is uncomfortable calling people, and the fear and the discomfort is, I don't want to bother them. You know, if they really want to talk to me, they'll call me, but I don't want to bother them. I don't want to annoy them. I don't want to make them mad, because if I do, they're going to leave me, and they're either never going to work with me or they're going to leave me forever. And then I'm going to starve, and then I'm going to die if I make this phone call, because that's the fear. It goes that far. It's automatic. We don't know what's happening like that. So what do you say to people who are afraid and uncomfortable with picking up the phone?
I think for me, it's about coming from a place of generosity. So I don't call people with the idea of selling something. I call them with the idea of giving them something useful, or giving them an idea, or, I play human snap quite a lot. So I have 2 people in my network who I think would. So, for example, you and Dan. As soon as I met, that was just a human thing to happen. So I love doing things like that. So it's about coming from a place of generosity as opposed to a place of or a place of curiosity as well. So for commission salespeople, I often, I do commission sales as well, actually. We do flat fee for marketing projects and commission sales as well. And so a lot of the time I just go and ask questions like, where do you get your information from? Where should we be advertising? What's the most interesting piece of content that you've seen recently in this industry? I don't know much about it. Could you point me in the right direction? And yeah, there are very few people that are mean about it. And I think sometimes actually one thing I did do for an entire day, myself and another lady that I often work with, we did a challenge, which was how many times could you get rejected in a day? And you would be amazed at what, the amount of information, the amount of access. I got to go to these incredible events just because I picked up the phone and said, I really want to go to that event. Could you get me in? for no other reason. Just because actually I think you're your biggest competition in that regard.
Yeah, I think the most important thing you said for all of us is come at it from a place of being helpful. You used the word curiosity, right? And as you said that, or I was thinking, you're just trying to help somebody. You're not pitching, you're not selling, you're not annoying. You're just trying to help somebody. And frankly, they're pretty lucky to be hearing from you, right? Because you could be calling anybody right now and you pick them. And how lucky are they? And that's the mindset shift. I don't have, sometimes somebody on the phone, I'm talking to them and I'm selling and they're the buyer. And they say to me, gosh, I love how you're putting me through your steps and your process and you're asking me closing questions and you're trying to schedule the next thing. And I don't think about it that way. I'm just trying to help. I know I can help you. I've helped a lot of people like you. I'm just trying to help. Those things aren't even something that's in my head. It's not even something that I'm thinking about. So I loved your answer. Zach Baker writes, phone all the way for me. I called a prospect today who said I was persistent. I just explained I did not want to waste each other's time, and I want to find out a bit more about the materials I knew they were using. Now I am putting a proposal together. That 6-minute phone call answered months worth of emails. Yeah, it took time to get used to the phone, but 5-minute selling was the turning point and understanding it's okay to be human. Top job. Thank you, Zach. It's more than okay. It's our duty.
I think that's what I took, going back to the original question about 5-minute selling. I think that's what I've taken from it most is actually, I called someone I hadn't spoken to in 6 months and just said, I really miss working with you. Is there any opportunity to do that again? Because actually it was really good fun. And that led to a huge project for me. And that's then led on to 2 more projects.
Why do you think it led to projects?
Pardon?
Why do you think it led to projects? I
think it was the right call at the right time. She was definitely in need of some help, which was good for me. But I think, again, it's really difficult. So many people struggle to be vulnerable. And actually saying that I miss working with you is quite a vulnerable thing to say.
Emma, how many times in her life do you think that client has heard, I miss working with you, I'd like to help you again? Yeah, right? How many times in her entire life do you think she's heard that from somebody? That's why it works.
It felt natural for me to say that because we'd worked together we'd worked together so well for, short bursts of time.
Because it's the truth. You did miss working with her. And then you told her and she said, oh my God, somebody wants to help me. Right. And then they don't let go because nobody ever says, I want to help you. I'd like to work with you some more. And when people hear that, it's not something they hear every day. It stands out. It stands out from the crowd. Let me ask you one last question on 5-minute selling. Okay. And then we'll start to wrap up because I want to be respectful of your time. And I really appreciate the conversation. I'm enjoying it a lot. If somebody doesn't know what 5-minute selling is, what selling boldly is, they're just coming across it for the first time. Describe it for them. What should they know?
I think it will reshape your relationship to marketing and sales. I think that's what it does. And I think it's about, people think marketing and sales is so complicated because we've made it data driven and we try to predict what people want and what we think they need and then sell it to them. And actually what I love about your books is it's easy to do, and it's just about talking to people and being open with them and developing conversations with them, and doing it that way. So it's not difficult. Anyone can do this. This isn't rocket science. Anyone can do this.
Thank you.
Discipline or regret.
Discipline, no regrets. It's something that our customers want from us, to hear from us, to be helped more by us. Our fear keeps us from doing it because we don't want to bother them. So we take away from them what they need and want from us, hurting them. Of course, hurting ourselves because we don't get a new customer. We don't get to help this customer more and get paid more for it. So if you can pick up that phone first thing in the morning, because that's the time, right? Mark Twain said, if you're going to eat a frog, eat it first thing in the morning, because it's not going to taste any better at 1 o'clock. You're not going to want it at 1 o'clock, right? So do it first thing. You're going to help customers more, and they're going to thank you with their money.
And chapter 36, I mean, all the scripts are in there. So, having that as a basis that you can then make your own, I think is really important.
I'm sorry, what chapter are the scripts?
I think it's chapter 36.
You just knew that off the top of your head?
Well, that's my favorite chapter. I always go.
I didn't know what chapter all the scripts are in, Emma, and indeed, you are exactly correct. There it is, chapter 36.
Yeah, that's the one I go to when I'm struggling, when I don't want to pick up the phone, when I'm struggling and I'm getting in my own head about it. Then I go to that and I just sort of, look at it and think, right, this is what I'm going to say to that person. I imagine, them smiling as they pick up the phone. So when I pick up the phone, I'm smiling, which seems to help.
Yeah. You could be really angry and it would still sound like you're smiling because of the cadence and how you go. So, Em, do you work with clients around the world or just in the UK?
No, around the world. Yeah, global clients.
So marketing, consulting, marketing improvement, help people get out there and get their names and their companies known. Yeah.
Yeah. So we do two main packages. We do the marketing moment of truth, which is where I go through your digital marketing like a dose of salts and tell you everything that's working and what's not. And then I do the same for your competitors. So that's our main package. And then we do a branded package for startups, which is 0 to hero and getting them selling in 5 days flat. Those are our two main packages. And then I do a variety of sort of strategic consulting around content marketing and then LinkedIn training, because obviously my background at BP, global social media.
Good. And these details are on your website, yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So I'm going to say, and then you say it your way because it'll sound better. Emari, emari.co.uk. And Marissa, maybe we could put that on the screen. Emari.co.uk. What's the website?
Emari.co.uk.
There it is. .co, not .co. .co. Good. So check out Emma's website for her excellent work. Thank you so much. I appreciate it tremendously. It's great to hear your story. I know your story, and I love listening to it every single time we talk about it. So I really appreciate you spending some time with folks. I think it's been helpful. I know it's been helpful to them. On my website, really quick, there is something cool and new, which is a workshop. There's a live 3-hour session called the 5-Minute Selling Workshop. It's on November the 12th at 11 a.m. Central, the same time we started this conversation. If you go to goldfayn.com, there is a link to it right on the homepage. It's called the 5-Minute Selling Workshop. On that workshop, there will be one breakout session where people will fill out their proactive call planner, and then we'll talk about it. There will be another breakout session where I will ask everybody to make a proactive phone call. Go off, make your call, then we're going to come back together and we're going to discuss it. We're going to talk about how it went, and you will share your experience and you will hear from your colleagues' experiences. So something new, something different. And it's on my website, goldfayn.com. Thank you so much. Love talking with you, and I wish you all the best in your work.
Thank you. And thanks for having me. And yeah, keep going with it. I mean, since I started 5-Minute Selling, my monthly revenue has doubled in these unprecedented times.
I'm sorry, say that again one more time, because I don't know if I heard it correctly.
since I started 5 Minute Selling, so since the book came out, I've been doing it every day, and my monthly revenue has doubled. And I have more projects in the pipeline. I'm quoting more than I've ever quoted before. So I had my 200th quote go out this morning, which for this year, which is just mental. Normally I've done about 100 by now. Doubled that, and my conversion rates have increased, and my confidence has increased as well. So if nothing else, definitely read the last, the epilogue, your manifesto. I love that. That's one of the things I read quite a lot, because I think it's so true. And I think as a commission salesperson, as generally a salesperson, I think we all need to just remember that a bit more often.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy about your success. 200 quotes in a year.
Yeah.
In a year. So congratulations. That's wonderful to hear. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody who watched and listened and participated. Damien, thanks for ordering the book. Look forward to your thoughts on that, and hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you.